To begin with, you will need to find the physical product that you will be selling on Amazon via their FBA service. Now you have a couple of options here. You can either sell on Amazon.com, you can sell on Amazon.uk or another Amazon marketplace for another country. So Amazon.com is the US version, or the US site, and I highly recommend selling on Amazon.com because there is just more traffic, more buyers, and more potential to make more money. Once you've decided, you will need to start doing your research to find products that are proven to sell. The aim is to create an initial list of around 30 to 40 product ideas, and I think what's important to say from the outset is that what you're looking for is simplicity. You're not looking for complex products. You want something that is easy to make, easy to sell, and that is also proven to already sell on Amazon. And so there's no guesswork here. The first thing you'll need to try and you'll need to avoid is to sell cheap products. You don't want to be selling products under $10 because the aim is to achieve a net margin of $10 per sale. In other words, you want to be making at least $10 profit for every product that you sell. However, there can be some sort of different ways of looking at this when you're doing your research. I'll give you an example. If you look at this product, which are paintbrushes, if you go to Amazon, type in paintbrushes, on the first page on the results, you see there are many products under $10 and a few under $5. And one of the products under $10, which is a set of 5 paintbrushes, is selling for about $6.99. So based on the criteria that I'm laying out here, you would look at that and you would think that, okay, well, paintbrushes are no good because they're selling for under $10. However, you need to think outside the box just a little bit, because of course you could sell more paintbrushes for a higher price and make the $10 per sale, which is required. And as an example, this product here, instead of selling 5, he's selling 30, and he's selling, or she is selling, for $20. And so they're definitely making over $10 per sale here, I would have thought. So even though you need to look for products which are selling for over $10, just bear in mind you can sell multiples of the same product within the same item for more money, and which will be sufficient. The other things you need to avoid are categories where you need Amazon approval. If you follow this link in the manual, you'll see a list of those. We also want to avoid electronics. We also want to avoid heavy products that would be expensive to ship, because in most cases you will be selling, sourcing your products in China, and ordering, say, 100 products, 200 products, 500 products, and getting them shipped from China to one of Amazon's fulfillment centers in the US. And of course, sending anything from China to America is expensive, and the larger the weight or the heavier the item that you're sending, the more expensive it's going to be. And so if you are selling 100 baby bottles, then that's going to be cheap to ship. If you're selling 100 tennis ball machines, that's going to be incredibly expensive. So that's another thing you need to think about, is how big is the product, how heavy is it, how easy or difficult will it be to ship. The other thing I would recommend avoiding to begin with are products where you would need to offer variations. Just a very simple example would be clothes, or hats. Let's say hats, you would need, probably 4 or 5 different variations in size to cater for children, men, women, big heads, large, small heads, etc. So anything where you would need variations, I would avoid to begin with, and that's simply because you will just need to put down more money for more inventory, and that is something you want to avoid to begin with to keep your costs down. The other thing, or the final thing you would need to avoid, are products that would be assembled by, or need to be assembled by the customer. You don't want any issues with that, relying on people to actually put a product together. You need something which is already done. Instead, you would need to look for products that, as I've written out here, are simple and uncomplex, light in weight, not too bulky for the reasons I've mentioned, be inexpensive to manufacture, be easy to private label, and private label means, is it feasible to actually put your brand name on the product? I mean, if you're just looking at the product, would it be possible to do that? And ideally, you would want to sell products in markets where customers would also be interested in other types of products within the same niche. And the reason why you would want to do that is, if a customer buys a product from you, ideally you're going to want to try and sell them a different product in the same niche further down the road. But we'll go into that later and exactly how you can do that. On this page I've given some examples of good products and some examples of bad products, and then I've included some methods that I use to find products and find product ideas on the Amazon marketplace. Now, the first method is to go to the bestsellers page and scroll through, just click through all the categories, subcategories, and find product ideas that from these pages that obviously sell incredibly well, because if they're selling on if they're listed on the bestsellers page, the volume is going to be very high. And I've listed out both the bestsellers pages for the UK and for the US on this page. So let's just have a look at this quickly. This is the Amazon bestsellers page for the US website, and what you can do here is just to click through into all the different categories. Let's say automotive, and then you can click through to subcategories like oil and fluids, motorcycle, interior accessories, and so forth. And literally it's just the case of looking through all the products and seeing what might be feasible to sell. Now, you need to look at price. There are other elements we need to have a look at in further lectures, but just for now we just need to come up with ideas. So for instance, this one is quite interesting. It's selling well. It's a microfiber drying towel for a car. So in this example, again, we're looking at a price here which is under $10. However, I think this product would be quite easy to sell as a pack of 3. And so instead of $7, you'd be selling for $21 or $24.99 or whatever the price would be. So I'd look at this and think, okay, it's selling well. If people are using a drying towel for their car, it's going to get dirty. People would probably want or would buy a pack of 3. I think they would see value in buying a pack of 3. So I would say that this is a good product and a potential, and I would be marking it down onto my spreadsheet. And let's see if there are any others here. Potentially first aid kit, that's selling well. You can probably get those in packs already made up in China from a manufacturer. It's easily brandable because you can put your logo on here. And again, there are some more towels here. Those would be good products. Just clicking through, again, looking at the bestsellers and yoga equipment. I think looking at these, I think these would be good products. These are yoga blocks. Again, under $10, but I would assume you could probably could feasibly sell a pack of 2. And in fact, you can order multiple products here. So that could be a possibility as well. So that's looking at the bestsellers area of Amazon. Now the second method is just to browse through the main Amazon directory, and you can do that just by clicking shop and department here, and it brings you to the Earth's biggest selection page. And again, you just click through, just try and find product ideas. Now the important thing here is don't think too hard about it. It's just important just to go look at the criteria that I've set out in the manual, and really just note down ideas. That's all they are at this stage, they're just ideas. We can go into further research later. So don't overthink it, just mark down as many as you can. It can be 40, 50, 60, 70. It's going to take you a while. The research is always the most time-consuming part, but it's very, very important that it's done correctly. Now, the final method is to go and use Amazon's search bar. Now, this means if, for instance, I was looking at those yoga blocks, and I thought, okay, so yoga is a good market, yoga blocks are a potential product. What else is selling on Amazon to do with yoga? So if you type in a word like yoga into the search bar, Amazon is going to give you a list of popular search phrases which people are currently searching for. So you can see yoga pants, yoga ball, yoga shorts. These are all potential products as well, and potentially, if they matched the criteria, then you can also note them down on your spreadsheet. You can also look for ideas based on the product that you've found. So in this case, yoga blocks. If I type in blocks, or attempt to type in blocks, you can see some ideas for the actual, how would you sell it, what the product, how would you make it different. So you can sort of see what people are searching for here. So a yoga block 2-pack, okay, that's a potential idea of how to position the product. Yoga blocks and strap sets, so people are searching for that. You could then sell 2 blocks, 2 straps for $30 more, make $15 per sale. So you can just basically come up with additional ideas based on what Amazon gives you when you type in seed keywords or keyword phrases into the search bar. So that's it for this lecture. Again, I really just encourage you just to not really overthink this part, because we actually do more in-depth research later on. Just get the spreadsheet, note down as many ideas as possible, and then we can dive deeper into each of them later and see which ones you can go ahead with and sell. Okay,